in terms of non-Freddy performances. Now the next one. Do 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 do. I like roosters, how about you? I like pigs and donkeys too. I like cows and I like hens. I like farm animal friends. Gravy. Little horror comedy. Released by Scream Factory. It's definitely another one that got rearranged quite a bit on the list. I mean, this list has been rearranged so many times, I don't even remember where this fell into. I think this might have been at a 5 at one point, and then maybe moved to a 6, and then up to a 7. But it's irrelevant. But pretty much the main plot, though, of this movie is these 3 psychotic costume misfits, as they describe it on the back, decide to take the people in this Mexican cantina hostage. The lead is played by Sutton Foster, who's the actress on the TV Land series Younger, and she was pretty good in this. I mean, I haven't watched that show, but I hear she's great on it. But yeah, though, the show stealers for me, though, in this movie were Michael Weston, Lily Cole, who was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and then here's a better picture of him than on the cover. Jimmy Simpson. That guy's, he was crazy in this. He definitely enjoyed some of that food a little too much, I can say. But had one of the greatest musical cues ever. Playing that song, I'm walking on sunshine, and the way he's like dancing, where he's like whipping his rear end up in the air. And it's like, okay, this guy's definitely enjoying himself a bit too much. But he was really funny. And one of my really favorite parts, not just in the movie, but the way they put in the trailer too, but it's just as funny in the movie, was one of the characters, I can't remember his name, but it was this guy who was one of the customers, and he hid in the bathroom while the guys were breaking into the house, or not into the house, into the restaurant. And like when he goes back downstairs and he sees everybody held hostage, he's like, his scream is just delightful to listen to. Sound like a parrot getting raped or getting a stick shoved up its ass. I'm not kidding, it sounded like something being shoved up a bird's ass. But and like then the bad guys are just looking over like, oh yeah, forgot about him. We forgot he was even in the building. Yeah. But yeah, that one was great. Now to number 7. This movie immediately had to bump Gravy off the list, even though Gravy is definitely I don't think it's rated, but it definitely is what I would say R-rated, despite it saying not rated. Yeah, this movie, a lot of people compare it to Last Action Hero, but I never saw Last Action Hero, at least not yet. The Final Girls, PG-13 slasher comedy, but I didn't mind that it was PG-13 despite certain things. This guy here, I don't know what his name is. Sort of scruffy looking Jamie Kennedy look-alike. Believe me, I know. I met Jamie Kennedy quite a few times, and he's very scruffy nowadays. Yeah, his character just cracks me up. Like when they get sucked into this movie, they and like he and the rest of them are hiding out like in the bushes. They're seeing the killer like sneaking up behind a couple of the victims, and like after he kills a couple of them, the guy that I just showed you, the scruffy guy, he like walks up to the killer. And I have to admit, it fooled me, because I really thought the second he was gonna walk up to that killer, the killer was just gonna smack him with the axe or whatever immediately. But nope, they definitely milked it to the point where it fooled me. And then he walks back to the rest of the group, or kind of close back to the rest of the group, and he's saying, "Don't worry." He's like, "He's not gonna hurt us. We're not part of the movie, so we have nothing to worry about." And like he's like, "Selfie time," and he like takes out a picture, takes a picture of himself with his cell phone, and then that's when the axe flies back and like hits him in the hip or something. But yeah, they did a good job recreating the 80s look, especially with looking at Friday the 13th movies again recently and stuff like that. The soundtrack was really good. "Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey, hey Mickey." Yeah, I never heard that song before until I saw the movie, but I really liked it. And like the movie kept looping, and some of the dialogue and the way they played certain scenes was great. And I know this is gonna sound a little mushy, but I actually almost cried, like when it came to Taissa Farmiga and Malin Akerman's characters. Like, because pretty much what happens in the beginning of the movie was the mother, Malin Akerman, was just left an audition while her teenage daughter was in the car, and she decided like to try to like cheer her daughter up a bit, like saying like, "Yeah, even though I might not get the part, like we still have each other, like and it's like, I don't care if we're almost in debt right now and we'll be losing the house or the apartment or whatever." And she like grabs the bills out of her daughter's hands and throws it out the window, and she's cranking up the radio to one of their favorite songs. And that was a very sweet little moment. But I do have to agree with some people, especially with Rambo Afterlife, about the CGI car crash and flip and everything. But other than that, I think a big majority of it was still practical for the things that they had to use practical effects for. And I definitely believe the chemistry between Taissa Farmiga and Alexander Ludwig, which I should mention now, it's just weird in a way, because this guy, Alexander Ludwig, was also in the movie Final Girl with Abigail Breslin, and here he is in a movie called The Final Girls. Found that a little unusual. Like, I did like how socially awkward he kind of was in front of Taissa in the beginning, or Max, that's her name in the movie, Max. Like, but she doesn't really want to attend the screening of this movie that her mother was in, which was called Camp Bloodbath, as you can see. But the scruffy, young-looking Jamie Kennedy look-alike urges her to go to the screening and see it. Sorry. But yeah, and that's like pretty much when the movie begins. But I love that line that Alexander Ludwig says to Tessa Farmiga when they were like getting ready to see the movie and they were looking at the poster, and he says to her, I still cannot believe this. When I first heard it, I was like, did I hear this correctly? Apparently I did. It was, he said to her, when he looked at the poster, wow, your mom was pretty hot. And then she gave him kind of like a funny look, and he was like, that was inappropriate, wasn't it? And she's like, yeah, a little. I still thought that was pretty funny. And pretty much like how they enter into this movie world, for those who haven't seen it, was like while they were watching the movie in the theater, there were a couple numbnuts in the audience that one has an alcohol bottle and the other one had like this gigantic blunt looking cigar, and like he accidentally spilled some of the alcohol, and the other numbnut, some of the ashes fell off the cigar and into the onto the alcohol, and it started a fire in the theater while everybody else was trying to run out to the main exits or entrances into the theater, but exits out. You get what I'm talking about. Tessa Farmiga, her friend, and Alexander Ludwig, and this little C word right here. I'm not going to say it because I try to be a gentleman. They enter into the movie, and that's where like the movie really begins and things like that. I mean, I'm not going to really go into other details because most people I know saw it. I mean, I do agree though that the PG-13 is kind of bull, but I can understand what the director, Todd Strauss Skulson or Schulson, I can understand what he was getting at though, in saying like that the blood and the gore may have distracted from like the heart and the emotional stuff in the movie. I mean, I don't entirely agree, but I still see what he's trying to say. But that's pretty much all I gotta say about this one. Come on. And now is the one that was definitely special to my heart. A really good friend of mine saw this with me. She knows who she is. Is The Age of Adaline. Yeah, this was a movie that definitely surprised me. I'm not really much for the romantic story kind of things, but if like the certain concept, if the concept's like a certain way that sounds tolerable, I'll watch it. But also, you're looking at the guy that has watched things like it's like you're looking at a guy who's a fan of movies like Shocker and Nightmare on Elm Street and The Stuff and Fright Night and The Faculty, From Dusk Till Dawn, Lost Boys, and a lot of these crazy horror movies. But I have room to look at some critically acclaimed stuff. Like, I love American Beauty, I love Forrest Gump, I love The Fault in Our Stars. There are quite a few movies that I've seen that are critically well received that I really enjoy, and those are just a few. But this movie, though, I definitely thought was really good. I think Harrison Ford's character was really nice. Definitely showing his age. But yeah, I really thought this was a nice love story. And this was originally in the top 5 on this list, but it had to get lightly bumped off by the next movie. This is another movie that is still in the theater. I saw this Christmas Day. I chose this over Star Wars, which surprised a lot of people I know. It didn't come out that... It came out alright, the picture. But it's from the director of The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, and American Hustle. Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, Bradley Cooper in Joy. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to have something to hold up to the camera. Yeah, that's an example of another critically acclaimed movie that I really enjoy. No pun intended. But I thought that was a very inspirational little story of this young woman who is like a housewife and helps out not just with her kids, but with her parents and with her grandparents, and oddly enough, her ex-husband. I don't get how that works. But that doesn't take away from my enjoyment of watching the movie or anything like that. But David O. Russell definitely knows how to direct these actors very well, especially since he's had them in most of his movies. And even though Bradley Cooper's not the love interest in here, his and Jennifer Lawrence's chemistry is pretty well close to just as strong as the Silver Linings Playbook movie was with their chemistry. And that's another critically acclaimed movie that I loved, and that was a movie I didn't really think I was going to think much of, but I really enjoyed it.